counting down.
Of course, I'd have to find a music score that's in the public domain that is okay to play.
That's right, yes.
Alrighty, well, we'll go ahead and get started, I think. Good afternoon, Houston Scholars. My name is Linda Besmer, and I'm with Muses 3, and I want to welcome you to our Read Aloud this afternoon. For those of you who may not have joined one of our other Read Alouds, we cannot see or hear our Houston Scholars, but you can communicate with myself and with our guest author, Miss Marcie Aboff. And you can do that by using the Q&A button that's at the bottom of your Zoom screen. So if you do have a comment or a question for our author, if you would use that Q&A, just click on the Q&A button and it should open up a window and you can type in your question or your comment. If you're a Houston Scholar who's logged in, you may need an older brother or sister or an adult who's there with you to help you type in your question, and that's fine. I'll check the question, the Q&A button several times during the course of our Read Aloud just to make sure that I can get all of that feedback to our author. And now I'm very pleased to introduce Miss Marcie Aboff. She is an author of many books, and she's going to be reading one of her newer books, The Giant Jelly Bean Jar, and it's being read with permission of Penguin Publishers. So Miss Marcie, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to turn the audio and the video over to you.
Great, thank you, Mrs. Bessemer. Thank you so much. I am excited to be here and to, even though I don't see you all, I'm glad you came to join me. And I am a children's author. I've been writing children's books for about 25 years. And I love what I do. I love creating characters, and stories, and using my imagination. So I write fiction, that's my fiction. I also write nonfiction, where I research about topics that I'm interested in and I like to learn, and then write what I've learned, write it down, and to share with students like you. So thank you for being here. I am going to read my book, The Giant Jelly Bean Jar. It's one of my favorite books that I've written. And in the book, there are some riddles, some jelly bean riddles. So if you do know the answer, maybe you could raise your hand and Mrs. Bessemer, I guess you can call on the student.
Oh, sure.
Okay. And then you can guess what the riddle is. So, so like I said, I'm the author of the book, and then the illustrator, the person that draws the pictures. So you'll see this is the cover of the book, and has by Marcie Aboff, and then the pictures by Paige, Bill, and Fry, and she is the illustrator. Paige is the person that drew the illustrations and drew the pictures for the book. So this is called The Giant Jelly Bean Jar. Ben loved jelly beans. He loved going to JoJo's jelly bean shop. Every weekend, JoJo had a contest. JoJo read a riddle and said, "Guess which jelly bean flavor is the answer to my riddle?" The person with the right answer won a jar full of jelly beans. Every Saturday, Ben went to JoJo's shop with his sister Jill. "Yum," Ben said. "Today I'm going to win that jar." "You say that every week," Jill said. "It was hard to win the prize. You had to say the answer in a loud voice. You had to say it in front of everyone in the store." Ben always knew the answers to JoJo's riddles, but he never won the jelly beans. "You are too shy," Jill said every week. She told Ben to raise his hand high and to speak up. "Okay," said Ben quietly. Inside JoJo's shop, Ben and Jill passed jars and jars full of jelly beans. There were apple jelly beans, bubblegum jelly beans, and grape jam jelly beans. There were even popcorn jelly beans. That's a lot of jelly beans. Jojo stepped out from behind the counter. "Hello, my friends," he called out. The kids cheered. "Here is this week's jelly bean riddle." So I'm going to read you a riddle and see if you can guess the answer. I'm a long yellow fruit with skin you peel back. I'm tasty with breakfast and I make a great snack. Can you guess what that is? What kind of jelly bean flavor that is?
Let me see if we get any answers in our Q&A box. What do you think, Houston scholars? Can anyone guess what kind of jelly bean flavor that might be? I think some people are thinking about it, Miss Marcie, but maybe like Joe, maybe like our young man in the story, they're afraid to let us know what they're thinking. But maybe let's go ahead and we'll see if they guessed right. And then maybe we'll get some more people raising their hand for the next riddle, because I think there's more than one riddle.
Yes, there are. Okay, so let's see. You might be thinking about it, but you didn't want to raise your hand. So let's see if you knew what it was. So the kids waved their hands high in the air, and Ben saw Jill raise her hand. So he raised his hand too, but he was very nervous. He saw bigger kids and he heard louder kids. So Ben lowered his hand. Jojo looked at the children. He looked at the whole crowd. He looked at everybody. And he pointed to Jill. "Banana," Jill cried, "a banana jelly bean." "You are right," Jojo said. "We have a true jelly bean princess." "Oh, nuts," Ben said. "I knew the answer too." "Here, Ben," Jill said. She gave him some jelly beans. "I'll share my prize with you." But Ben didn't say anything. He wanted to answer the jelly bean riddle himself. The next Saturday, Ben and Jill went back to Jojo's shop. "Who was ready to be this week's winner?" Jojo asked. Everyone cheered. "Guess this jelly bean flavor," Jojo said. "Now this one is even harder than the last one. It's a very different kind of jelly bean flavor." "I am a big round pie with cheese and tomato sauce too. A slice would be nice. How many for you?" Very different kind of jelly bean flavor. You probably have eaten this food before. Does anybody want to guess that one?
Let me see if we have anyone raising our hand on our second jelly bean riddle. That is a tough one. Well, I don't see anyone raising their hand, Miss Marcie. So let's see if everybody was guessing right.
Let's see, that's right. Okay. So Jill whispered, "Go for it, Ben." And Ben raised his hand. He always knows the answers.
We did get now we're getting some. It took a while for them to come through. Oh, we've got some very different answers, Miss Marcie.
Okay. I'm going to put the book down because the answer's on that page. So does anybody who can guess?
Well, our Miss Andrea is guessing watermelon.
No.
And Kendra is guessing pizza.
That sounds like a good answer.
Wow, maybe we can read the riddle again and then kind of move forward from there.
Okay, so let's see what the riddle was again. I'm a big round pie with cheese and tomato sauce too. A slice would be nice. How many for you? So to that young girl that answered pizza, let's see if that's the correct one. Jill whispered, "Go for it, Ben." Ben raised his hand. This time he didn't lower it, but there was another boy whose hand was higher, and JoJo pointed to that boy instead of Ben. "Pizza!" the boy shouted. "Right," JoJo said. "Here is a jelly bean jar for my new jelly bean prince." "Oh, nuts," Ben said. "Not again." He didn't win again. So Ben and Jill walked home together. "Don't worry, Ben," Jill said. "Next time you'll win for sure." So the next Saturday, Ben and Jill went back to JoJo's shop. But this week was different. It was special. JoJo's jelly bean shop had been open for 1 full year, and JoJo was having a big party. The store was more crowded than ever. JoJo stepped out from behind the counter. He raised a very, very big jar of jelly beans over his head. Everyone cheered. "Yay! Who will be my grand prize winner today?" he asked. Kids waved their hands high. Me, they shouted. Ben just looked at that jelly bean jar. Wow, that is big. It was the biggest jar of jelly beans he had ever seen. He listened carefully to JoJo's riddle. Okay, are you ready to guess? I'm yummy with jelly and can be spooned from a jar. Between slices of bread, I'm a true sandwich star. Anybody know what that might be? What kind of jelly bean flavor? What flavor that is?
Wow, it can be in a sandwich with jam.
Right,
And
I'm yummy. I'll read it
ahead.
again. I'm yummy with jelly and can be spooned from a jar. Between slices of bread, I'm a true sandwich star.
Wow, let me see. I think we've got some folks here that are, oh, I just need to move my window over a little bit. Oh, we've got a couple of answers that are exactly the same, Miss Marcie, and I'm thinking that they might be in the right direction. We have both Miss Andrea and Miss Kendra are saying peanut butter.
Peanut butter, that sounds like a good answer. Let's see if that's right. Let's see. So of course, Ben knew the answer right away, just like he always does. So this time he lifted his hand high. Then he looked at the jar again. And he raised his hand a little higher. He raised his hand as high as he could. He even stood on his tippy toes. He wanted to get the answer. He wanted JoJo to pick on him. So JoJo looked out at the big crowd. And finally, after all this time, he pointed to Ben. But Ben was so surprised, he forgot the answer to the riddle. Oh my goodness. After all that time, and now he forgot. Everyone waited for Ben to speak. All the kids were looking at Ben, but he didn't say anything. So some of the people just started to wave their hands again. Me, they shouted, pick me. Ben still didn't say anything. So Jill, Ben's sister, looked out at the crowd, and she knew she had to do something. So she lifted up her foot and she stepped on her brother's toes. Oh, nuts, Ben said. He looked at Jill. He shook out his toe. It didn't hurt that much. But then all of a sudden, Ben thought about something. Nuts, Ben thought. Peanuts, he whispered. And then all of a sudden, Ben remembered the answer to the riddle. And in a big, loud voice, what did he yell? Peanut butter! So you were right. Whoever guessed peanut butter, that was the right answer. Yes, Jill shouted. Yes, JoJo cried. JoJo placed a sparkling crown on Ben's head. He handed Ben the great big jelly bean prize jar. How does it feel to be the grand prize jelly bean king? Jill asked Ben. Great, Ben said, loud and clear. He did not feel one bit nervous. On the way home, Jill patted Ben on the back. You did it, she said. Ben grinned. Thank you for stepping on my toes, he said. Jill grinned back. That's what sisters are for. And that's the giant jelly bean jar.
Oh,
So
wow.
I wrote this book because one of my favorite snacks, when I usually try to eat healthy foods, but one of my favorite snacks when I want to have some candy are jelly beans. I love jelly beans. And I have 3 children, and when my children were younger, they're older now, but when they were younger, I used to play word games with them. And especially, you know, if we were driving in the car, we were waiting, and they were getting bored, I'd say, okay, let's play a game. And I'd say, name me a color that rhymes with bed. And what do you think they said? Can somebody guess? A color that rhymes with bed?
Oh, I'm not seeing anyone raise their hand. I tried to give them a clue too. Oh, we do have Miss Andrea thinks that it might be red.
Very good. That's right. Or I'd ask another question. I'd say, name a fruit. Think of a fruit that rhymes with beach. Can anybody guess? A fruit, a summer fruit that rhymes with beach. It's a little fuzzy, it's round, it's sort of yellow, orange.
Yep, we do have someone has raised their hand and they've guessed peach.
Excellent, very good. That's right. So that is how I got the idea and created this book, The Giant Jelly Bean Jar. So thank you for listening. And you know, we have a little time left. I have a few more riddles that nobody's ever heard before. So if you know the answer, these are new jelly bean riddles. So if you know the answer, let Miss Besmer know. Maybe you'll guess these too. So here's the first one. Heat me in the microwave and hear me jump and pop. People love to eat me at movies with butter and salt on top.
I wonder what that could be. I see someone has raised their hand, so let's take a look. And Miss Andrea thinks that that might be popcorn.
That is right, Miss Andrea. Good for you. Popcorn jelly bean. That's great. Okay, here's another one. I am fluffy and I'm soft. My color is pink or blue. You find me at fairs and carnivals. I'll stick all over you. Can anybody guess that one?
That one's that's tough.
That's a tough one, yeah. Pink and blue, fluffy.
Looks
sticky.
Like we have a guess here. Miss Kendra thinks that might be cotton candy.
That's right, Miss Kendra. Wow, excellent. That was a harder one. Very good. Wow. Okay, I have 3 more. I am a small red fruit. I'm a yummy ice cream shake. Small red fruit, I'm a yummy ice cream shake. Tiny seeds cover my body, and I love to be with shortcake. Anybody want to guess that? A small red fruit with tiny seeds over on their body. Anybody could guess what small red fruit that is?
Oh, we've got 2 guesses, and I think they both might be right. Both Andrea and Kendra are guessing strawberry.
Very good. Excellent. Okay, you were very smart. Okay, here's another. I start out as a white drink. You add brown syrup in my cup. Take a spoon and stir me and drink me all the way up. Anybody know what that is?
Well, we have one guess. Miss Kendra thinks it might be milk.
That's right. Very good. Chocolate milk. Good for you. You guys are smart. Okay, one more. I am a round summer fruit with fuzzy skin and a big pit in the middle. I sit next to plums at the market. Now guess this jelly bean riddle. We just talked about this one before. You heard this one.
Oh.
A
Yes.
round summer.
Yeah, we got the guess of peach.
Very good. Excellent. That is great.
Well, you know, Miss Marcie, I have something that I'd like to share that I think our Houston scholars might enjoy, if that's okay with you.
Yes, definitely.
I found this really cool map. And this is a map that shows America's favorite jelly beans for every state. And here we are, Houston scholars in
Wow.
Texas, and it's showing that the favorite jelly bean flavor in Texas is popcorn. And gosh, Miss Marcie, I think
Wow.
your state over up in here, right? It looks like your
New
favorite,
Jersey.
New Jersey. So it looks like your favorite, the New Jersey favorite jelly bean might be licorice.
Wow. This is a
Wow.
great map.
Isn't that cool? When you mentioned the book title that you were going to read, I found this map and I thought that was very interesting to see all the different flavors. And for our neighbors here in Louisiana, their favorite jelly bean flavor looks like it's strawberry.
Yes.
So very cool.
Yeah, I see watermelon and I even see, is that cotton candy? Wow.
Yep,
I
and I
see so much.
yep, and looks like pear and apple and orange,
Is that
cherry and
cinnamon sticks?
cinnamon. Wow,
Yeah,
that is very cool.
very cool. I love that. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'm going to see if we have any other, looks like we might have some other questions. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and
Okay.
see if we had other. Nope, I think we're good on our comments, Miss Marcie. Well, I really, really wanted to thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I know Miss Marcie's actually joining us on her lunch hour from work to read this really neat book for you all. So I hope that you all enjoyed it. I know that I did. And I love
I,
the way that you put all of those riddles in the middle of the story. It really made you stop and think a little bit before you turn the page to see if you could guess. So I really like that. And I don't know, do you have other books as an author where you've put riddles in the books like that?
you know what? Not specifically riddles like that, but I do like to sometimes, and I'm trying to think of more. I'm trying to create some more books now where there's a lot of interaction, similar to this, where you're reading a story, but then you're stopping and trying to guess something or some more interaction. I think that makes a book a lot of fun.
Well, it certainly, I think, made it more fun for our Houston scholars here on this end. It really was kind of a cool thing. And we did have one of our student scholars or one of our teachers that said, thank you for sharing the inspiration for the story. So they really,
You're
it was
welcome.
helpful to just know how you used to tell, keep your children entertained as you were driving, and the fact that this is one of your favorite snacks. So that's pretty cool to put the two of those together.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, thank you again, Miss Marcie. We really appreciate it. We hope that our Houston scholars did enjoy. I am going to share my screen one more time, just really briefly, to just in closing here. We know the 4 things that we've all been asked to do: to wash our hands with soap and water, cover our coughs and sneezes, avoid touching our face, and keep good social distance. And of course, our Houston scholars here in Harris County, we know we are still being encouraged to wear masks when we do go outside. And I wanted to make sure that you knew that we do have a calendar of all of our read alouds still online. So we have 2 read alouds tomorrow, and we have 6 more next week. So we still have some volunteers. We have another author tomorrow reading some of her books aloud. And to find those, you can go to https://tinyurl.com/M3May read alouds. And again, please feel free to go ahead and sign up for any additional read alouds. And we look forward to you joining us. And thank you again so much, Miss Marcie. We really, really appreciate your time today.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Keep reading, everybody.
Bye, Houston Scholars.
Bye.